And here we are. Once again, it is the Tonic Man. In case those new folks on the line do not know, well, the Tonic Man is me. A lot of folks joining us, the family, I guess it is a family, because my dad put this product on the market commercially. I mean, he gave it away for almost 20 years before, but commercially in 1943, and by 1945 it was so demanding that he formed a company, and he had people actually doing what we do today, sharing it. But he did not know what he was doing. He was not a salesperson, but he certainly developed one heck of a product, let me tell you. This stuff is just amazing. Every single day that I have lived, I have a new experience and a new outlook of what this does. I mean, the lives we're saving, the people we are helping, the animals we're helping. The other day, I was at a party somewhere where they said they have a horse that has EPM and it no longer has it. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. It doesn't matter. If it has blood, it works. And so tonight we have another really, really great guest who has another story, a different story. But you know what? Over all these years we've been telling these stories and doing these calls, it doesn't seem to matter because everybody has a different story, but it doesn't matter. They all get better. You know, the other day I mentioned I was at the party and I said to some people, who said, holy cow, you know, we go to parties and we drink too much. I said, what are you talking about? I said, when I was younger, in my 20s and 30s, we drank nonstop. But every single time that I went to a party and I had too much to drink, I'd take a couple of ounces and bam, in 20 minutes I'd be sober. That's how fast this burns the alcohol in the blood. And you would think that all you folks out there listening, if for nothing else, just for the people who drink alcohol, they should have a bottle in their car, and no matter where they are, drink a few ounces, like gurgle it, guzzle it. This burns the alcohol so quickly, they will not have alcohol in their blood. And if you're at a party and you've had too much to drink, make sure before you go to bed you drink a couple of ounces. I'm telling you, the next day will be like night and day. It'll be like so different than the way you're used to waking up. Now, some people may say, what are you talking about, Anthony, about people drinking too much? Folks, the reality is a lot of people drink too much. That's the way it is. So why not let's help them? This is a long way away from the story tonight, but before I even get to that, there is a lady that has been on this phone call for years, Mary Ann. And the other day, I had a phone call from a fellow that said, Mary Ann told me to call you. Well, he's a Vietnam vet. He's 80 or 82, and he's got Agent Orange, and he's got this, and he's got that. And you know what? At 80, boy, I phoned him, and I talked to him. And boy, is he lucid, is he got it together. However, he said he's 80 and he's got all these problems. I said, I'm 82 and I have no problems. But you know what, folks? I never went to Vietnam. If a person goes to Vietnam, that alone is going to tear a strip out of your body. No matter what we do in life, there's a lot of things that are going to wreck our body. And how do you keep it together? Now, he's 82 and he's in pretty darn good shape. So he's got it together. But you know what? I talk to people all day long who are 62 and don't have it together, who are 52 and are half dead. It's just so sad. We had last week on our call, as maybe you've already listened to it, a fellow who, I think he was 54. And he was like, he's got a list of problems it's a mile long. And here I am at my age. Look, I was born in 1937. And I haven't had a systemic prescription medication ever. And my blood pressure is pretty darn normal. And holy cow, I talk to people who are like on the phone, half dead. or they should have died a long time ago with all the health issues. And yet, when they drink the tonic, they start to come back. And I got to tell you again, folks, this is not a cure for anything. We are not advertising a cure. What we do with this tonic is what my dad did when he started making it so many years ago. He looked, how could he improve the oxygenation of his own blood? That was the reason he started this. And he managed to put a formula together after a lot of trials and tribulations that did that for him and then for many others. And then all of a sudden, other things started to come to the front. People started saying, well, you know what? Not only do I feel energy, but I got this, I got that, I don't have this, I don't have that. And he kept working on it until I think it was about 1940. He had the eureka moment, if you want to say. And all of a sudden, here he was with this tonic that in those days, everybody, no one says, oh, it's a snake oil. But today they might say it's a snake oil because there's so many pharmaceutical medications and so on. But it's not a snake oil, folks. It's just herbs, minerals. It's normal, natural, everyday things that we use, that we should use, that really should be in our diet or in our body. And he happened to put it together in such a way that it could do these really, really ridiculously miraculous things. But it does it all through the bloodstream. There is no magic when it comes to your health. If you have good blood, oh, by the way, the other day at that same party I was at, I was talking, of course, people ask me, how do you, when they learn that I'm my age, they say, how do you stay so young looking? And I tell them, and they said, oh, in the blood. And I said, yeah, you should go and have a live blood test. And one lady said, oh, I had one. I said, and? They said, it's amazing. It's like we have another pal, Cecil, who has a picture of his blood, and he shows it to people, and he even showed it to a doctor. He told me today he talked to a doctor like 8 years ago or something, or 8 months ago, and the doctor said, yeah, well, the blood is, normally maroon to dark. And he said, well, what if you have red blood? He says, well, that would be really healthy blood. But he says, no one has that. No one has that. So he pulls out his photo. He shows them. He says, well, I do. And the doctor didn't know what to say. Because even the doctor, I think he was a heart surgeon, didn't know. If you can have good, clean blood, it'll be good, healthy blood. And when that blood is healthy, it's going to look after you. That's as simple as it gets. But it's not so simple because we are brainwashed by everything and everybody. And it's up to you, folks. You have to tell people. If you don't tell them and show them, tell them what I'm saying. Take a blood test, go for a live blood test, look at the color of the blood. If everybody looks at the color of their blood, and today they see it's anywhere from maroon to black, believe me, you're on your deathbed. Because that blood that is maroon to black will never be able to perform long enough to keep you alive. It's as simple as that. Or you may keep you alive, but you'll be on 25 medications, an institute somewhere with oxygen and so on. You may be alive, but let me tell you, you ain't going to be alive. In my book, if you want to have a good quality of life, that's the way we should live. If you can't have a good quality of life, you might as well be in the pine box. Because the quality of life, especially when you get older, like me, you want to be able to play with your grandchildren. Not that I have any. Maybe one day I will. But in the meantime, I'm practicing so I can make sure that I can play with them. And that's what you folks want to do. Your children, your grandchildren, play with them, help them, communicate with them, you have your brain razor sharp and so on. That's what you need to do. And if you're not doing that, jump on the JC. Hey, here I am, ranting and raving, going on and on, like I usually do. because it's not a 40-year, it's not a 40-hour story. It's a 40-year story, and I've got plenty to tell you. So the first thing I want to tell you is that we have a great call tonight, and hang on, because we're going to get it up. I got to play the disclaimer, and we'll get right into the call.
Uric Classic Whole Body Tonic is a dietary supplement, not a drug. Therefore, it is useful to affect the structure and/or function of your body in various ways, but it is not intended to and will not cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual testimonials may not be everyone's experience and do not constitute scientific evidence. Uric Corporation does not make any drug or treatment claims for its product.
Thank you, and good evening to you and Irene and everyone listening. Tonight, as Anthony mentioned, our special guest is Irene, and Irene has a story about an injury that almost took her life. It's quite incredible, so I wanted her to come on and tell you exactly what happened and how through it all the JC Tonic has played an important part in her recovery. So Irene, go ahead and please tell us all you went through. It's quite incredible, to say the least. And we're so glad to have you here tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Well, hello, everybody. This started, two winters ago. I flew to Baltimore, and I remember almost every night the temperatures would drop 20 degrees. So this particular night, there was black ice on the very top of the landing, 10 steps below me. Well, my whole body, my feet went out from me, and I flew so high, I don't know why, but I flew up in the sky. I was looking at the sky, and I was thinking flip, because I knew the steps were behind me, and if I landed on the steps, I was going to break my back. But anyway, I ended up unconscious on the bottom of concrete. I didn't know at the time, because it was so cold out, that I had a compound break. My bone was actually sticking out of my arm. And so anyway, of course, they did surgery right away, and it got infected. They say that's normal, that's a compound break. But I was told by Betty, had I been on the JC Tonic, that it would never happen. Well, I ran out of it, was working a lot of overtime, and just failed to order it. So anyway, in fact, they've had to open it up 3 times. I put hoses in it and drain it. It was terrible, very painful. I was not allowed to go anywhere for 7 months. I had to stay in the house. One time I went to rehab, but I couldn't go to gyms. I couldn't go to the beach. I couldn't go outside. I couldn't take showers. It was that serious. It was life-threatening. They were worried that it was going to get in the bloodstream. I had IV in the main jugular on the right side of my neck, and it came out the chest. The nurse would come and check on me, and I would put the medicine in 3 times a day. But anyway.
Hey, Irene, you're talking about your arm, right?
Yeah, this was because of my arm. I was on this really, really strong antibiotic.
But the arm, they did surgery, and they repaired the break. They closed it up, and they
would close it up. And it would just, the infection would never stop. It would never heal. And they would open it up, drain it, and then.
So when Betty said that you wouldn't have had that problem if you were on the tonic, what she was saying was that your body would be strong enough, your immune system would be strong, and it would have been able to fight the infection. We don't know for sure. But we know one thing, it would be a lot less of an infection and a danger to you if you have a strong immune system, and that is for sure, you know.
But see, when Betty called me to ask me why I haven't ordered, and I told her what happened, I said, well, I only get paid from week to week, and I can pay you Friday. And Jeremy hollered, ship delivery bottle, delivery bottle now. Well, anyway, I was instructed by Betty to take the JC Tonic for 10 days, 3 times a day. And this last month, the IV broke when I rolled over in my sleep, and blood was shooting everywhere. I put my finger on it. Well, who wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning when you fall? Nobody. I didn't want to go by ambulance, so I drove me to the hospital. They fixed it, and then it happened again 3 days later while I was driving my sister in the car. So by then, I was really afraid to sleep at all. And I went to my physician and said, could you please get these doctors to get this IV out of my body, because I'm afraid when it happens again, I'm not going to make it. You know, I'm probably going to die in my sleep.
Was that IV antibiotics or what?
Oh, for the infection, I had to keep the infection medicine in 3 times a day, real strong medicine.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was that serious. My arm was so infected. It just, the first time the infection started, it exploded. It was just dripping. It was horrible. So anyway, they agreed to take me off the 3 doctors, the IV. They took it out, and by then I'm on the JC Tonic, right? And I'm taking in pill form these antibiotics. But as I was taking the JC Tonic, I just sensed in my body something was happening and to take less of the medicine. Well, then I was allowed, I asked if I could go to Ocean City, and they said yes, and because I didn't have the IV anymore. See, they were so worried if water would touch the IV and get in, that would be a worse infection. So anyway, I walked by Mira. This is the 10th day, and I noticed something shiny on my arm. I thought it was my daughter's makeup. And I go to the hospital. There was a hole in my arm. It opened up. So I go to the hospital, and the doctor said, well, the good news is that the infection is gone, but the bad news is your body's rejecting the metal. My body actually made this tacky gel and was trying to push out the rod. It was a real pretty color sunset gel. And so I came home. I said, well, that's all good because I want that rod out, and the infection's gone. I was so happy. So this time, the last surgery was to take the rod out. They sewed me up, and I healed real fast. And that was the 10th day exactly that I was on the JC Tonic. And by that time, after I say the 5th day, I was present on that medicine, 3 times a day, and I stopped taking it between the 3rd and 5th day. By the 5th day, I was taking no pills. So the JC Tonic did it. That just don't happen. Not when you have an infection that bad, so bad that you're on IV. And all I did was take the JC Tonic 3 times a day and the 10th day it was done. It's amazing.
It is amazing indeed. It has a remarkable ability to clean up that blood, and when the blood is full of the good guys to do battle with the bad guys, it's amazing how a body turns around. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. That kind of a thing, I mean, you could have lost an arm.
Yeah, this was 7 months. 7 months of that. It was horrible. I didn't think it was ever going to stop, or if nothing was ever going to change. It worked. The JC Tonic definitely is. It definitely worked. It sure did.
Well, I'm glad to hear that story, and it worked all right, and it'll keep your body going for the next 40 years and maybe avoid a lot of bad stuff coming down the pike in everybody's life after 60,
Oh, yeah, I believe that. My children take it. I have a son that works in like a chemical plant, and he knows how it expels chemicals and cleanses his body. So, and because, they saw what I went through, they're also believers. So
it's a family affair. Good.
Yes, I'm very, very thankful. Very thankful.
How is your arm looking now, Irene? Is it completely healed at this point?
Well, I tell you what, I can do Pilates. This arm, for what it's been through, I've never had any pain at all in that elbow, or it has healed up really nice. The doctors were amazed, really amazed. Yeah.
And how much tonic are you taking a day? You said 3 times now?
Oh, no, I'm just taking a cap a day. Yeah, I take a cap a day. Yeah. And if I don't feel well, or if I feel like there's something going in my body, then, I'll increase for the 3 days. If I feel better within 3 days, I'm back to one cap a day, but if not, it'll be 3 caps a day for 10 days.
So you were very fortunate.
Oh, yes.
You almost had blood poisoning, or I guess you did have blood poisoning at some point, hence all the antibiotics. So you're on no medication now at all, which is great.
Well, Irene, we certainly appreciate that story. It's a different one indeed, and it's something that, of course, many people will go through. And we've had a few of these kind of stories over the years, people with infections that just wouldn't go away. Some where I remember one lady, they were going to amputate her foot, and her husband got her on 6 ounces a day, and there was never an amputation, and the infection cleared up, and she was walking again within less than a year. So it's amazing what this old body of ours can do, and that's what happened to you. This tonic has given your body whatever it needed to go and do the battle, and the battle it did. So wonderful. I'm glad to hear you have no other things wrong with you. You said you're 62?
I'll be 62 this June.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, happy birthday and stay well. And thanks so much for coming to the call and talking with us.
Oh, yes, indeed. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm so thankful you called me at that time, too.
Yeah, well, I like to check up on everybody to see how they're doing. And
Follow up.
Yeah, follow up.
Okay, so go out there and plant some seeds, Irene.
All right, appreciate you guys.
Thanks
Happy
a lot.
New Year to you. You're welcome.
All righty, bye for now.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.